This is the Tuesday edition of the Morning Buzz. May the 4th be with you. My name is Caitlin Aristizabal, and I'm joined in the virtual studio by young Padawans Amanda Marino, Kenny Horn, Ben Petrick, and Emma Coughlin. This morning, New Jersey is easing COVID-19 restrictions, a COVID vaccine for teens, and commuting is always a zoo, but this one has animals. In the second half hour, we'll be joined by MSU Career Services Jedi's Adam Mayer and Jeff Poulos to discuss social and racial justice in the workplace. But first, here's Emma Coughlin with your news update.
Good morning, Montclair. This is Emma Coughlin, and here are the latest news updates for 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. In local news, New Jersey will move to eliminate percentage capacity rules later this month as the coronavirus pandemic slows. Here's Peter Zizas with that story.
Today, New Jersey takes a communal sigh of relief as yesterday, Governor Phil Murphy announced major changes regarding COVID-19 restrictions taking effect Friday, May 7th.
These included the increasing of the outdoor gathering limits to 500 individuals, increase indoor room capacities to 50%, up to 250 individuals for political gatherings, weddings, funerals, memorial services, and performances, and other steps.
To name a few, as well as lifting the prohibition on indoor bar seating, buffets, and self-serving foods. Effective May 19th,
we will remove the current 50% capacity limit and allow restaurants to operate at whatever capacity allows them to continue to ensure a minimum 6-foot distance between groups. Religious services, retail establishments, casinos, gyms and fitness clubs, personal care businesses, indoor and outdoor amusement and recreation businesses, and indoor and outdoor pools. The current 50% capacity limits will be lifted.
That includes restaurants as well. Assuming our COVID case numbers continue to fall, New Jerseyans can expect everything to open up with sustaining mask mandates in the format of these interval-based openings. I'm Peter Zizis, and this has been WMSC's News Report.
Governor Phil Murphy says the positivity rate and hospitalizations continue on a steady decline while vaccination numbers increase. New Jersey is also launching a shot and a beer program. Governor Murphy announced that any New Jersey resident of age who gets their first vaccine dose this month and takes their vaccination card to a participating brewery will get a free beer.
Any New Jerseyan who gets their first vaccine dose in the month of May and takes their vaccination card to one of the following participating breweries as proof of vaccination will receive a free beer.
The governor hopes this will encourage people 21 and older to get vaccinated. Some of the breweries taking place are located in Hackensack, Toms River, Little Ferry, South Orange, Neptune, and Ocean Township, to name a few. In national news, the co-founder of Microsoft is getting divorced. That's right. Bill Gates tweeted saying he and his wife, Melinda, are ending their marriage after 27 years. They said they no longer believe they can grow as a couple in the next phase of their lives. Gates is worth nearly $133 billion. This evening, you can test your skills at Archery Tag Balloon Burst, where participants use arrows to pop as many balloons as they can. This event is hosted by the Rec Center from 6 to 8 p.m., and it is open to all MSU students with ID. Honestly, though, they should have had a lightsaber battle, right? The weather in Montclair today is like Endor, about 15 degrees Celsius for those of you metric Star Wars fans. That is roughly 57 degrees. Temperate but gray and cloudy. We'll see a high of 73 degrees, mostly resembling the temperatures in Tatooine, except way less dry and desert-like. This concludes your news update for May the 4th. For WMSC Upper Montclair, I'm Emma Coughlin.
Thank
Help
you,
me.
Emma. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only sportscast hope.
Nerd. And
That's all you have to say, Ben, really?
I love the intro, but the
embrace it. Just embrace it, Ben.
God, I know it. All right, fine. All right. So here's the sports update for all the yeah, I know I read it. I just was saving this, Annabella. But so the thing I have to say is in the NFL, the Emperor Palpatine, or otherwise known as Bill Belichick, drafted the future successor to Tom Brady last weekend. So if you're an NFL fan, I'd be holding your breath and hoping that he's a bust. because that would be another 20 years of happiness for Patriots fans. Also in NFL news, Aaron Rodgers is going to be looking for another team based on he does not want to be a part of the Green Bay Packers anymore. So he will be looking for another team. The future Hall of Famer was looking towards the Denver Broncos at the moment, but could change at any moment. Going into other sports, a true showing of good versus evil will be tonight as the New York Yankees take on the previous cheaters, the Houston Astros. Every person that I've heard that is going to that game already has a sign and is making me very jealous. And and they're all going to be a crowd that is going to be around 10,000 is going to be cheering as if there's 40,000 people there booing. And finally, in news, LeBron James has come back from his injury and says he is no longer feeling like he is 100% of what he used to be. So finally, Father Time is catching up to the man that spends $1 million in his own body every single off season. And playoffs are coming up when it comes to the NBA, and the NFL season's about to start getting fully under wind, and it's going to be very exciting, and news is going to be great over the summer for the summer buzz when it comes to sportscasts. So that is my sportscast. Yeah, that's it. Did it, guys. I did it a little bit more mature than last time.
Wow, that's
I
surprising.
know, right? I did it. I got a little happy. Oh, I don't know. What do you want me to do? I was told to do a Wookiee sound. How do I do that? It's like,
Honestly,
he
that
sounds
was pretty
whiny.
good,
Like a
though. That was pretty
Wookiee just
good.
sounds like it's whining all the time, even when it's mad. It'll be like, yeah, it just he sounds like he's having a bad day. Like he'll win the battle and he'll be like, what do you want, man? Do you want us to rip their heads off? Like he wasn't even satisfied and they're playing drums on their heads. It was like that. What a whiny baby. Where is he? Right there. It's a whiny baby.
Caitlin, I feel like, is so confused because she said before the show, not to out her on Facebook or the airwaves or anything, but she said she's never seen Star Wars.
Yeah. Wait, so Ben, you have a Star Wars hat? Is that your whole hat is Star
Yeah,
Wars?
based on you not seeing Star Wars, this is Francis. He's really talented. This is Darth Plagueis the Wise. That's my dad.
Oh my God.
These are the most accurate shooters in the world.
For anyone
And-
that's listening on the airwaves, Ben is showing off his hat right now. So if you want to see it, you could check out our Facebook later, only if you're interested,
And-
or on YouTube.
That's Indiana Jones.
Oh.
And that's me when I don't shave for a week.
Yeah, I could see that.
Oh goodness. Oh goodness. Well, anyways, we got to kick into these news stories, and we got some breaking news yesterday that was actually reported by Emma and Peter in our newscast today. Guys, New Jersey is dropping COVID restrictions May 19th. Restaurant indoor capacity limits are eliminated, but social distancing must remain, as well as masks still remain in play. Yes, that is the exciting noise that we
Yes,
all had
weird
yesterday.
monotone screaming is how I reacted.
So obviously, as said in our newscast earlier today, all the COVID restrictions for New Jersey for indoor dining, retail, all of that's going away on May 19th in New Jersey, New York State, and Connecticut. So obviously you heard this in the newscast. Caitlin, Ben, Emma, what are your thoughts during this?
Well, I'm super
can't-
jealous because I live in Pennsylvania. So this news
Aw.
is very yay for you guys, for me.
It scares me though. Like I don't want to go to a restaurant. I feel like even now if I go to a restaurant, there's like when there's too many people, I'm like, I don't really want to go anymore. So now it's just going to be more people.
I don't care. Let's go.
I've been like hand selecting the restaurants I go to. I'm like, if it's too crazy, I won't go. But like, I've been sitting inside now, and it's still a little weird, but getting used to it kind of as it's going along.
I kind of like sitting outside, actually. Well, now especially. I obviously didn't like it.
Yeah, in the middle of
freezing
January.
cold. I still did it, but I didn't like it. But no, I like sitting outside.
Yeah, I think it's fun too. I think it's like a
Makes
different
sense.
experience.
Mm-hmm.
Of being outside eating?
No, like I mean, like it's
Like-
something that like I feel like only certain
Why is
restaurants.
this like such a revelation to you guys?
No, but I mean, like, I feel like it's only one of those things where, like, certain restaurants only really did it before, and it was like, oh, it was like a special treat to do that. But
Now
like
we get to
now
have
it's like,
Applebee's outside. Oh my goodness.
it makes it more fun. Maybe that's just
What?
me, but it makes it more fun.
Yeah, especially if it has like a nice view of something, like
Yeah.
it's ambiance.
I
I
I'm
mean,
all
I do
for
miss eating
eating
inside. I
outside,
do,
but I don't know why you guys are acting like this is something new. Like we did this
Well,
before.
think about it as this way, like. If you lived in Florida and that was like an option you had all year round because it was always like more nice out, it would be weird for them to go sit inside in a sense. But like, no, yeah. I mean, if you're so used to that, you might do that more often. I'm just saying.
What?
Ben's like,
Where
no.
are you going with this? They don't. They
They
what?
eat inside.
No, but no, I'm saying that yeah, they eat
also,
inside
they
too,
don't
but
just,
it's
like the Florida doesn't just rip off the roof and then like,
no,
everyone's
but I mean it's
outside
more
now.
common
No,
because
but she's saying they always have the option to do that. We
But not really,
didn't.
because it rains a lot
Oh,
in
yes,
Florida.
okay,
like,
I'm making the point in
no, they
Florida, but it could be
don't. Where are
anywhere.
you going with this?
It could be anywhere. Like think about there are a lot of places where there's like nicer weather, like California or something like that, where you could kind of have the option to do that in January, but you don't really have the option to do that here.
I think the difference between the restaurants is they keep theirs year round. We put out our outdoor stuff in the summer because
Yes,
we have a winter.
yes, that is what I'm trying
I
to say,
get-
Ben.
Okay, I get that.
Emma's like, that's
But
literally
it
what she
doesn't
said.
negate the fact the majority of people still go inside because it's too hot sometimes.
But the other thing that came out in this announcement yesterday, besides all this opening up, specifically we're opening up indoor bars, like you'd actually sit at the bar again. Like that was always like a thing that you couldn't do unless you were like technically, I think, eating. So now you could go sit there and just chill and have a drink and not have to worry anything about
Does that mean like somebody can't sit next to you though if you need space?
Well, so that's what they said in this whole announcement. Everything is open to capacity. Like you could open it like whatever, but you still have to have 6 feet distance. And you still have to wear like masks, obviously, if you're entering the restaurant and things like that, entering retail.
While you drink?
No, Ben.
I
Yes,
just wanted
I'm
to get you a
gonna
little bit off
drink
track.
through my mask currently that I have on. Yes, no, you would take your mask off to drink. The idea would be though that you would be considerate of your wait staff and the people around you too, and you would wear your mask until you're about to take a sip or eat. But like nobody does that. I do that because.
It's
That's
going to be a
just how I-
maskless place based on how humanity works.
Yeah, no, everyone just like I even see sometimes when I go to restaurants, people like don't even wear them to like leave the restaurant, and that's like literally the consideration they ask, like to wear it to your seat and back or like to the bathroom or whatever. Like
I hate when I see that though.
I mean,
But that's why it's
that
going to be
bar
hard that they're
rule-
opening up.
That bar rule, I don't know. Like, I would hate that here because, like, there's a bar at my place of work and it's been closed for a year and I've never had to deal with it. And I really don't want to. I mean, I'll probably leave before I have to, but like, I can't imagine like dealing with that like as a worker. I don't know. Like that's the other thing too. Is like, how do the employees of these places feel about all this?
yeah, I guess my problem is I feel like we opened everything so like one at a time. It's like we did like 15 or 25% at a place or whatever. And now I feel like we're just like rushing. And that's where my thing is of like, I'm kind of concerned. Like I wouldn't have been fine if we decided, oh, yesterday, 75%, maybe opening a little more here or there. But I feel like now we're just rushing it.
Well,
I
when
know
200
why.
million of the 360 million of us are vaccinated,
Well,
kind of gives you
yeah.
an incentive to just start opening up.
And transmission has been down for passing COVID. And like you just said too, most people are vaccinated now. But I don't know. I feel like it's been weird to just say like we're gonna open everything up completely now. Like, cause that like worries me in a sense that I feel like if we rush, then like there's gonna be a problem.
I vote we just take off masks, just start sneezing on each other, and survival
Ben.
to the fittest. I'm joking. Yeah, I'm joking.
Yeah. Honestly,
I really thrive for either two Amanda faces, one of sheer confusion and one where it's not sure if I'm serious or not, so she's a little mad at it.
I'm just like, I'm done with you. That's my face that I'm doing. I'm just like, okay, cool. I have 3 weeks left of school. That actually means 3 weeks left. I don't have to see Ben.
I
Yeah.
love you too.
But I don't know. I
That's
mean,
how Amanda shows affection to me.
yes,
Like,
of course.
I hate
Of
you.
course. Of course. But anyways, I think this is something that we'll definitely keep watching out for and seeing like how we do as a state and as a country with more things starting to open up. And I know for sure this will be something we'll keep covering on the morning buzz, and for the summer buzz as well. They'll be continuing to talk about that as well.
You guys are like the guinea pigs. You're the first people doing it. So
I mean, we're technically not, though, if you really think about it. Like places like
Yeah.
Florida never really shut to begin with. So
that's
like,
true. That is true.
But
Yeah, good point.
also, we were the first one to get everything. So like,
that's true.
what we experienced here, Pennsylvania kind of got it around the same time, but we even so Jersey and North Jersey especially, not even down South Jersey, but mostly North Jersey and New York got hit about a month before everyone else got skyrocketed.
Yeah, that's like probably the most interesting aspect of this whole thing is like with everything opening is that we were the ones that got hit really bad. And I think a lot of people like forget that in a sense that we got hit really badly because the way we live more on top of each other in New York City and things like that because the buildings are so close, things like that. And people like had a hard time understanding that, I think. But anyways.
And also on top of that, they were the first ones to respond. So
yes.
my that's what made living in South Jersey kind of nice because you got all these responses and these shutdowns and your town is barely getting hit. The only reason that my town got hit was because of Lakewood, and Lakewood was a huge danger zone. The only reason my county it was Lakewood. Everyone else was barely getting sick. And it was because of all these shutdowns because of North Jersey. So it's very good to be at South Jersey because you got all the responses and the safety precautions without getting hit, which was kind of nice.
It was the same in Philly too. We never got super bad. I always thought we would, but well, I guess there's still a chance we could. But yeah, it was fine. There was like a point in my like suburb town where it was kind of bad, but I think that was just because like my family member had it, so I just felt like it was worse than it was. So, but I think you're right. Yeah, we didn't have to deal with like the terrifying like wave that just swept through North Jersey and New York. So that's a good point.
Yeah. Now I have a question for you three. I have two questions for Emma. One, why are you in a car? If you don't mind me asking.
I have work at 9 a.m. and I work 20 minutes away from my house. So I'm outside my work so that I can.
Oh, so your coworkers are walking in being like, what the?
No. It's like a block that way, but yeah.
Oh, okay. You don't want to be embarrassed that you're hanging out with the coolest people.
No, I have to pay.
I get it. Anyway, so it's the other
two. To park there. But yeah, that's why I'm in a car. But I will not be working Tuesdays anymore. So this is the last time.
Wow.
Car. Thank God.
Wow. When do you think, Amanda, because you are always on top of COVID related issues, when do you think that the mask will be lifted? Because if I have to sneeze into my own face one more time because of pollen.
That's a little harder of a question, to be honest. I don't think they're actually technically ever gonna go away now because I think the idea of people bringing it to the US and stuff, it's always kind of existed in other countries and such. But with the US, I feel like people are actually going to take it more into consideration now when we go back to like a level of normal that masks will be more common during flu season and stuff so that people will still go to work but not be sneezing on each other and things like that, and they'd actually be more keeping it to themselves and they could still be involved in being out and doing work and whatever else they have to do. I think we're going to see a lot more normal like with that. And because if you think about it, a lot more people didn't get sick this year with like the flu or anything else like that. And with regular masks, like normally, like for everybody else, like to kind of just like how I'm wearing one right now, I don't know. I think it might be like the fall. And if not the fall, I think it might be the start of 2022. I think that's like going to be an accurate thing because the idea that people won't get vaccinated kind of falls into play. If more people got vaccinated, I think it would be earlier. But because people won't, that's going to cause a lot of problems and a lot of that kind of stuff because we do know the masks work. We do know tests work for the most part. So that's like what we have to rely on if people won't get vaccinated. I don't know. Do you guys have other opinions on that?
I think everything you just said, I agree with. So, yeah, it was well said.
would you take off your mask when they tell you can't? Or would you keep using it? Or would you be like, woo, and then rip it off, rip it in
Depends
half,
on the situation.
throw it in the
Yeah, I
garbage?
mean, the whole thing of now see the CDC saying that technically you don't need to wear them outside. Like people are like, "Oh, so why are you still wearing them outside?" And it's like, honestly, out of like pure laziness. It's easier for me to like stick it on when I'm in the car still and not have to like dig it out of my bag, like find my hand sanitizer, whatever. Like it's just so much easier to like wear it and then just wear it like when you're outside. And especially if you end up walking into bigger crowds and stuff, it's like, do I have to pull it down, pull it up, things like that. I don't know. I guess to me that's like yeah, I'm still wearing one during like maybe I'm not near anybody, but it's just out of pure convenience. Like I go to work every week or so, and when I go, I just don't immediately take it off when I leave the building because it's just easier for me to just take it off when I get in the car because it's like, why do I need to carry it? I don't know. That's just me being like lazy though.
Yeah, I also think like it's kind of, I don't know, I didn't realize, sorry, a truck's coming back. I didn't realize how much I like would like not having people like breathe on me when they like talk to me. I like when you're talking to
Close are
like
you to people?
a customer and they're like asking you a question. It's like I don't really like I don't know where you've been. I don't know what you've been doing all day. Like I don't know, it's kind of nice to like not have to deal with that. Like I wouldn't mind wearing masks in the workplace, honestly. And I know my coworkers would very strongly disagree with that, but like I don't know. I don't mind it at the workplace. It's annoying when I'm with like my friends or my family or something like that. Like a social event with like people you're comfortable with. Like that's annoying, but I don't know. I feel like in customer service, it might not be such a bad thing.
Yeah, I agree with you though.
I get it. I agree with you there. But how I can't get over this. How close are you that a person's breathing on you? Or is it just like a metaphor? Because if a person's actually, how much of this is literal?
Well,
What kind of people do you serve in near Philly?
I mean, okay, well, I do get hit on a lot at work, which is annoying, but like even that, like without that, like you're still talking to people one on one. Like I check people out at the register and like there's a counter, but they're still like right there. Like it's nice to just not have to worry about their germs.
Uh, mm,
I
that's
feel
fair.
that too.
That's
I feel like
that's fair. Okay.
honestly, the social distancing thing has made me be like, I really don't want these people standing on top of me and things like
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
Again, how close are you to people?
no, because people
But
just
like even things like
don't give you
concerts
personal
too.
space.
I can't
Mhm.
imagine it yet.
That's fair, Caitlin. That's fair.
I can't like you asked about the mask. I feel like I'd have to ease my way into it. I can't like the day that they announce we don't have to wear masks. Like I'm not gonna go outside and just like
It's like the whole
it's
thing
just
of
gonna be
going-
weird.
Just run around like it's Shawshank, but it's just a mask. Just
but it's like the whole thing with like, going back to like indoor dining and stuff. It's like you're gonna do what's easy for your time and stuff and like what works for you. But before we take a quick break, I do want to touch on this other story real fast. Caitlin, do you want to talk about what we learned from Pfizer? The one vaccine that's one of multiple vaccines that are out there.
Yes. It was announced that the U.S. Food and Drug Administration is expected to authorize Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine for younger kids between the ages of 12 and 15 by next week. So that's really exciting news. That was according to a federal official and a person familiar with the process. So that's crazy because that means kids could start going back to school, I guess.
Well, it also means that people will be more safer in a classroom, I think, too, which is really exciting. Obviously, they did say kids still will have side effects. The ones that have been put through the trial, they have the side effects after the second shot, but it's the same that like adults have been sharing, like, aching and things like that, fever, things like that. But so far, they're like, it's been keeping protected kids, and they're going to obviously continue on with the trial and make sure that no long-term effects do come up in the next like 2 years or so, which is good. But it's also important to know that Moderna is also in this process too. They haven't announced if their trial worked completely yet, but they are in the process of working with it and seeing how they're doing because they have kids through the trial with Moderna. But it's also important to know that both vaccines have been testing up to 6 months and beyond, 6 months old and beyond, to see how kids react with it. So this is exciting news, and I'm happy because this means like I feel like more of a level of normal is coming. I know like think about how many people are like below the age of 18 or 16, specifically with the Pfizer. Like that's a lot of people that I know a lot of them and their parents will want them to get the vaccine. So I don't know. And I'm going to be curious if elementary schools and middle schools, as these start to become approved, will become mandated like a lot of colleges have been. What do you guys think?
Wait, it's 12 to 15?
Yeah, 12 to 15.
What? That's middle school.
No, I'm saying as the other ones start to become eligible, like if like younger than 12, but if we're looking at 12 to 15, which is middle school, high school, what do you think? Do you think middle schools and high schools are going to start requiring it? And if lower grade schools too, if younger kids start to become eligible too, would that be elementary schools start mandating it too? What do you guys think?
It's gonna be tough if it's a
Yeah,
public school.
that is going to be really tough. I can see a lot of parents just being
Yeah.
really unhappy.
I could
You
see
gotta
like
deal with-
parents who
you gotta
got the
deal with-
vaccine and don't want their kids to get it because they're more worried about it, which is I feel
Yeah.
like that'll be interesting to see. There's going to be a lot more of that, I think.
I mean, technically, think about it. I've seen parents go crazy over colleges just mandating it, and that's a college
Yeah.
kid, who's old enough to make their own decision about the vaccine anyway. Like, just stating the facts.
It's like, how do you get that mother from Alabama? Like, not every mother from Alabama, you get my point. But that one lady that's just like, I will never give my child a vaccine. That stuff's made from the devil. How do you go from there? You just like, all right, kid. Well, Annabella says the kid needs to stay home, but like, what if they don't do remote work anymore? If they open up.
Yeah,
So
if it's like
many-
fully open and it's
Yeah,
just
if
like
it's
two
fully
kids
open,
who
it's
aren't
I
in
not
don't
gonna
think
do
that's
remote
going to
work.
go away. I don't think that's ever going to go away. Honestly, I think there's going to
There's
be
no such thing
remote
as a snow
work
day anymore.
options for everybody now. I don't think that's going to be a reality. Like that is going to be a reality for
It's gonna really stink to be a kid now, because you can't, like, when it starts to be really bad weather, you're not gonna be happy.
I mean,
Like, oh my goodness, first of all, how happy did we all get when it was plummeting snow? You see power outages in every house but yours, and you're just like, yes.
I mean, in fairness, though, Ben, in my high school, I never had a snow day because we always had remote work. We never had a snow day in high school because we had computers and they posted work on like a college almost like platform that was called Blackboard. We don't use Blackboard here, but they posted all our work there, and it was expected that we would do it on a snow day. It only started to get taken away
How
when I was
dare
a
your
senior.
school not give you the awesomeness that is
Well,
a snow day?
I mean, that was what it was like attending a private school. So I mean, that was like how that was like. Oh, and we apparently used to use Blackboard here at Montclair, but now we use a site called Canvas. So that's
Yeah.
keep in mind.
Stockton uses Blackboard.
Yeah, a lot of colleges do. It depends like which one you are. Yeah, Canvas is better. But I mean, this is something that's also be interested. I mean, obviously we've made a lot of progress during this pandemic of like things like when we think things are opening up, things like that. So I guess something also to keep in mind to see how this Pfizer vaccine does with younger kids and if schools will start mandating them. For sure. But for right now, we are going to take a quick break here at 90.3 WMSC, Upper Montclair, New Jersey. But stay tuned because we will be back with Jedi's Adam Mayer and Jeff Poulos to discuss social and racial justice in the workplace. Stay tuned.
Research shows unequivocally that diverse groups are more innovative than homogeneous groups and force group members to think more creatively. Like, how many times, dude, have you been with somebody who had the same exact thoughts all the time? You're like, oh, we're awesome. You know, everything aligns. Nothing is as productive when there's friction. We need friction. And whether if it's between what we do day to day, you know, sort of some of the menial things, some of the big things, it all has to sort of look at that. I think that's a big piece.
Absolutely.
That was Adam Mayer and Jeff Poulos, MSU Career Service Jedis.
Wow. Okay. Good morning.
I am honored.
To continue with our May 4th celebration, which is so exciting because I knew you joined us last year on May the 4th as well, which is super exciting. Their podcast, Manual Are Automatic, What Gears Are Driving Your Career, is currently wrapping the 4th season. And you just heard a short clip from that last episode of the season, which focuses on racial and social justice in the workplace. Thank you so much for joining us on this lovely Tuesday morning.
Good morning, guys. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you. I am having like vibes channeling my origins here. I was involved in radio as an undergrad, so I'm like a giddy kid right now. I love being here. So thank you for having us.
Dude,
Yeah,
I feel
of
like you
course.
could do ESPN commentary right now with your luck. You're all
I,
set, bro.
I'm on the sidelines, you know. I'm like, hey, back to you in the studio, guys. All right.
Straight away.
We love that. I love that. But like, yeah, it's been a year and it's a lot has changed in the year because I remember having you on our May the 4th last year. It was me, Ryan, and Jeremy, and we did a whole Jedi celebration together, which was super fun. And we're glad to have you back on this day. But how have you been? How has it been since a year going into this pandemic with being in career services? What has changed in your department? Anything like that that we should know here on WMSC?
It's
JP, you
been
want to take it?
yeah, it's been wild. Yeah, I think also we joined last year, we tried to rock Darth Vader helmets and it didn't work. But I don't have that with me today. But yeah, it's been a wild ride, and we're super fortunate and thankful that we're able to still do the podcast remote and record remotely. But it's been tough, and you know we've gone through it and we've had support, and the students, you guys have all been real troopers, to be honest, and you've really developed some strong grit and a really good skill set that you may not realize it now, or if you have, that's awesome, but a great skill set that you're going to carry into, you know, any career industry you go into. But not much has changed. We're hoping to return, really, to come back to campus. You know, remain, you know, we'll find out what the lay of the land is and the plan coming back there. But I'm excited to come back and see some people, you know, and
Right.
not see
Yeah.
you know, see you through the screen and through kind of what's it called, like Brady Brunch style here, you know.
You don't
Right.
like the little squares where we get to see little visuals from every inch of New Jersey or every inch of the country or anything like that? You don't like that?
Yeah, it works for certain things, but yeah, it's I'm over it. I don't know how everyone else feels. I think we're all in the same boat, but
Little Zoom fatigued, I think.
yeah,
Definitely.
we did an
So,
episode on it.
yeah. I think I'm going to need to listen to that soon
Wait,
because
did you do an episode of Zoom fatigue over Zoom?
Yes. Nice
Doesn't
call,
whine
man.
about-
Did.
Yeah,
Like,
dude,
"Oh, I
totally
can't stand
ironic.
looking at your face anymore."
It's like Inception right there. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So, I mean, obviously, you know, as you know, we're all college students on this call and everything like that. And we're all in different years and we're all in different majors and things like that. What has been the most challenging aspect of working with everybody in career services during this pandemic?
Well, I think in some ways, because if we, you know, sort of take a big, like the drone shot, career advising isn't mandatory, whereas academic advising, that sort of thing is. And students really have to elect and be aware that career services exists and make an appointment. So that's usually a hurdle, pandemic or not. I think it's been more difficult during the pandemic. Sure, I mean, dude, it was insane. I'm glad we're finally coming out of it. And Jeff, just to kind of move a little bit, Jeff had sent me an article yesterday about how I think it was it the Wall Street Journal or the Times?
Yeah, the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
mean, job predictions, what employers are thinking of doing with their positions is supposed to be increasing. So we do have good news there. But yeah, overall, make it, you know, just to pop back the other way. Yeah, make an appointment. Get with career services. Meet with them. Check out your resume. Do the thing.
Yeah, it's never too early to come see us. That's kind of like my phrase that I wear on my sleeve when I speak to students from all sorts of, you know, classes and grade levels. So, and you know, you want to be having that conversation and engaging with us in it, you know, on the sooner side versus later. You know, this way you're not having that panic feeling as to, you know, what's going on and what's the next step.
Sure.
Now, as Annabella said that she owes her career that or Good Morning America and Sirius XM and all that. She owes her career to her college, Fordham's Career Services. When you get an appointment with a student, do you look at them as if this is the student that's going to go far, or do you look at this student's going to be staying at this job, or do you just get everyone to reach for the stars? Like, what is the approach with each and every student?
So I think you need a temperature check because everybody's got different goals and, you know, different methods of doing things in terms of organization, school, etc. But I really try and meet students where they are. And one of my first questions right off the bat, Ben, is how can I help you today? Right? It's finite, it's manageable. The world is so complex. There's so many things going on. So if we start the conversation with that, it gives us a sense of scope and it gives us focus to go forward.
I'd like to add to that. I always start, aside from that question, just tell me a little bit about yourself, especially if
Oh.
it's a student that I don't know, and I have never met with before, just to learn about their background, and that helps me kind of navigate our conversation. So, and yeah, if a student does, we see a lot of students, right? It's
Sure.
myself, and I have my supervisor Nadine in our college for approximately 5 to 7,000 students. So
Crazy.
it's crazy. So the more you come and see us, and you share that ambition, that motivation, the more we get to know each other, and that I can kind of assist you along your career and professional development journey.
And I think that's really important because I feel like as a student, sometimes like I like to just be on my own and do like looking for jobs and stuff on my own. And I'm like, I don't need help. I don't need anybody to assist me. But I
Right.
actually, it just came back to me right now that you guys actually helped me with a little tip that I didn't even know existed last year that you told me about, which
Okay.
was changing something on LinkedIn that I didn't even know I could do,
Straight
which
up.
was the
Public
whole
profile address.
yeah, changing your address because it was always these random numbers, and I
Brand
added
it.
it, changed
it.
it, branded it, and now it's like an actual pretty name. And I was
I
like,
love
I
it.
didn't know this. And then they helped me.
It's
So
a pro move. Yeah.
There you
for
go.
anyone that doesn't know what we're talking about, on LinkedIn, it kind of generates a link for you as your profile, and it will just add random numbers and letters, and it doesn't look pretty, but you could actually brand yourself and actually put your name attached to it and stuff, which is super nice and a helpful hint that I didn't know. But but moving into what we really had you
Nice.
here to talk about, besides obviously more the tips and hints about the career services and stuff, your latest episode is about racial justice in the workplace. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
I thought we were talking about Star Wars, actually.
Well, I mean that too.
Yes, I think, and Adam, my navigator,
Sure.
I think he may agree with this, that this was probably one of our heaviest episodes that we've attempted to take the car out for a spin on, and whatnot. And what we did, and the approach that we took, is what are ways that leaders in certain industries or companies could incorporate and kind of tackle social justice issues in the workplace. Because really, it all starts from the top, kind of the top down, in the culture that the company creates, and ensuring that there is a safe space for folks to share their voice, that they have a voice, but that also, that ensuring the leaders and managers and people even maybe 2, 3 tiers below that CEO are also best equipped to kind of ensure that their teams have a voice too. So I think it's really, and you'll see this, and this has been a theme, I think, for the last few years, due to the certain climate of geopolitical issues and certain things that have come to light in the last few years. And really, it's understanding who makes up your workforce, right? And kind of a
Love it.
temperature check. So that's what we discussed. Am, what are you thinking over there?
Yeah. I mean, if we look at it, diversity and inclusion, those initiatives have been around for decades. But as these movements continue to gain steam, gain attention, highlight the issues, employers more and more are now on board. They need to post on either their website, their social media handles, whatever it is, that they are in the know and that they support diversity. So if I look at the literal definition of interview, it's whether to determine, if a match exists or not. So sure, the employer is interviewing us, but you guys too, you're interviewing them. So if they're not a socially conscious employer, they're not putting themselves in a competitive market, and they're going to lose out on quality candidates like yourselves. I mean, folks that have what they need. So yeah, employers who aren't embracing these movements, they're on thin ice.
That's important to note for a lot of us, especially as we're looking as college graduates, and a lot of with what has happened in the last year and stuff, and more of a social realization, I guess, like more of a realization that this needs to be something that's not just in politics. It's something that's more
Right.
of like coming to the day-to-day work, school, all that stuff. It's something that's very important that we need to be looking forward to that. I don't know if Caitlin or Emma or Ben, you guys have anything you want to add to this conversation?
No, yeah, definitely. I was just gonna say, One of the tips that you shared in the podcast was have a clear understanding of your present workforce and what you think your workforce will look like in the future. How important is it for leadership to understand their employees?
I think it's as important as every minute of the day. I mean, they have to. It's not as if they have to micromanage anything, because we know that that typically doesn't work. But to know what player on your team is an emissary. So somebody who can take the message, take the ethos of the company, the mission statement, the direction of the company and the brand, and bring that to the rest of the players on the team. So knowing who an emissary is big. Jeff and I talked about too, and that was, I know, part of the intro clip. The more diverse your groups are, the more friction you have, the more productive and creative your workforce is going to be. So it only makes sense to have a diverse team. And again, if an employer is not espousing that, that's definitely the wrong direction.
Yeah, and I think it creates buy-in too, right? One of the kind of angles that I take when I coach students is you want to be working for a place that, of course, doesn't always, shouldn't just align with your interests, because that's a primary goal, right? You want to be working for, something or a company that you're interested in, because that creates that fulfillment piece in what we do and our job, but also a place that maybe agrees or aligns with your own values, your own kind of mission statement, or their mission statement aligns with your own values, I should say. And that's where you're going to really kind of create a buy-in and invest in yourself, and that company's going to invest in you. So I think you're going to be seeing, and it is happening, it's not even just seeing, but there's that term DEI, like Adam said earlier, diversity, equity, and inclusion. A lot of these types of initiatives that have been created, there's actual now job titles that have those key words in the description. I think those are, I would say, probably not so much entry level. They may be more like, mid and executive levels. And those would be the people that would be the ones that are trying to get a finger on the pulse and stuff, because you want to keep that talent. You want to keep folks at certain, at companies that are working there, and you don't want to lose them because, your company or that company didn't take a stand on a certain issue when there was an opportunity to do so too, right? So I think it's really connected in a way. I don't have like a visualization or a web, but if I were to make one, it all, connects in some sort of way now more than ever.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, obviously, like I said, a lot has changed more within the last year and such. But what are some things that you've already started to notice, like with companies and organizations, that they already started to change with their application process, their interview process, with trying to appeal more to diversity?
It's a great question.
It is a great question. I think it sort of goes back, the more recent thing is just the influx, the sheer number of employers who now know, I got to be in this ball game. So again, yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, I think as well, from what I've read, there's been different recruitment strategies and approaches. And I think, and Adam, we haven't taken a deep dive into this, but I have read even there's certain applicant tracking systems that are out there that are more inclusive, ensuring that people don't get kind of, lost in the sauce in a way of the applicant pool, making sure that they do kind of have a place at the table or get that next step, that next interview. So I definitely think there's different approaches. And really for you all as students and job seekers, when you are not only, looking for a job, look at what that company is doing and what their stances are too, right? That's a good way to kind of gauge if that's a place that you want to be, what the culture is, what the values are, what their social media presence is, what their type of, what are they posting? So in a way, you're kind of, like Adam said earlier, that's kind of a form of that. You're interviewing them.
Yeah.
You're kind of seeing what's out there and what do you agree with and what you don't agree with. So yeah, I would definitely say there's probably different recruitment efforts that are out there, and people, I think, now more than ever are really looking into bringing in people from different backgrounds to give that, outside kind of the box, perspective and approach.
It's very interesting, idea and everything with that, applications are changing and things like that. But do you think any of those application questions that maybe haven't changed hurt the applicant even more? I'm thinking more of I know sometimes they'll ask you your your race or your
Yeah.
gender and things like that. What are your opinions on that?
I think that there are a zillion questions that are part of job applications that are biased, without a doubt. So much of this stuff, it's been par for course. The folks in the background, like, yeah, that's the way we've always done it. One of those things. Well, it shouldn't be. So the job applications need to be reviewed by employers just to make sure everything's on the up and up. Because if something's an overt bias, obviously, folks are going to pick up on that in some way. But then the covert ones, the quiet ones, the sort of unspoken bias is that when an employer does receive an application, and we know too with social justice issue, ageism is a big one, right? I don't know that that's talked about that much. JP and I did an episode on age discrimination in the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
So, an employer might see one and have a certain age range in mind. And if ever they, are able to ascertain an applicant's age, maybe looking at the graduation date, if somebody left that on their degree, on their resume. No, this person's too old. I'm looking for new blood. I want to do something else. That's not okay. And there are legal ramifications, but sometimes that stuff is really difficult, especially with ageism, to prosecute. So.
And
Yeah.
and with that, our general manager, Annabella, actually brings up a good point too. Should the graduation date be on your application, on your resume, all that stuff? Because I know that's something that you just mentioned. You were like,
sure.
So it should be included, even though there could be discrimination against that.
So like right after graduation, you definitely want to include it.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, include it for a couple of years because your degree's fresh. The curriculum is fresh. You're a brand new grad. Employers love that, especially depending upon the positions. But later on, like somebody like me, dude, my business is all the way at the bottom. I took the years off because I thought I was a time traveler.
Laundry list.
Right, dude. So I actually saw Star Wars in the theater.
Doc Brown over here.
Original, dude.
Yeah.
Not the 77. The what was it?
83 or 82.
I saw 1980 in the theater.
Oh, okay. 80, yeah.
Yeah, so I keep my dates of graduation off.
Yeah, I think it's the old method, or not old method, but a Jedi trick, if you will, is the RR method, as Adam and I say, what's relevant and recent. So I think, that's what you want to ask yourself. And also always with the resume, you want to ask yourself, what is important for the reader to know and why?
Love it.
So, if you can, you can answer that question best because you want to be, you're the one that's speaking to your resume and you want to be confident speaking to it. So, but I think for now, absolutely fair game. You want to have that up top. That sets the tone for the reader, is and will be your largest accomplishment right now. And you're letting them know, like, I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm ready to go into into the workforce and kind of get going.
Put me in, coach.
Cue the music. Just kidding.
Well, since we are getting to the end of our time together, do you have any excellent, perfect points that any of us students can use towards our looking for jobs, entry-level jobs, or, internships, things like that?
I think if we come full circle, take advantage of career services. Meet with your career advisor, not just once. Have them review your resume. Ask them a simple question like, are there, job search suggestions you make? And they'll have a ton. Like Jeff and I can talk about networking, LinkedIn, your profile use, applicant tracking systems. It's just opening the door, getting into the appointment. That's the biggest thing.
Absolutely.
So you could totally take advantage of career services in the summer as well.
And I think one very large point that I always stress, especially to class of 2021 folks, and this is pre-pandemic, type of comment too, the power of networking is massive. And I believe networking to me remains to be the number one job search tool. And I think Annabella, a part of her story also involves networking, or it's sprinkling in there as to how she got to GMA and where she is now. And have those conversations with folks who are in your field and in your industry. And that's where LinkedIn could be used as a vehicle for that you can look up who is in the field, who's in the industry, what are they doing, their career trajectory, and send them a connection request and say, hey, I see that you're working as a PA or a producer or an editor. I would love to learn more about what it is that you do or how you got there. And I always tell students, you roll the dice, you may never hear from that person, and that's the shot that you're willing to take, and you have to be comfortable knowing that. But on the other hand, you may, and I've seen a lot of really good success stories with students that I've coached over the last few years that they've done that approach, and it's led to them landing an opportunity somewhere, getting an internship, getting a full-time job. So, I think, your career journey is always evolving, like the resume is always evolving and develop. And now it's easier now more than ever back in the day. Their LinkedIn has only been around for, I don't know, 15 maybe years, something like that, roughly. I don't know. I gotta check my data point on there. I wasn't prepared to drop that, but yeah, it's at your fingertips. So why not speak to those people? Speak to alum. That's a really good starting point. So I use that a lot in my day to day, especially talking to class of 2021 folks, because it's a nice visual to see what is out there, and they may share something that they wish they knew when they were in your shoes, right?
For sure.
Definitely something to take advantage of. We all gotta meet up with career services. But the last episode of season 4, your current season, focuses on racial justice. That episode drops next Monday. Will there be a 5th season of manual or automatic?
There will be if we have anything to say about it. We love it. We love Annabella. Nice. R2 loves it.
R2
Come on.
loves it. Yeah. We're in contract negotiations. There's a lot of people that are trying to hook us in other directions. So they got to make a really good offer.
So ridiculous.
We have Armor All now is in the mix because we have the car metaphor going on. We had Gastrol GTS. We've even had random letters. This episode is sponsored by the letter C for career services. So, everyone from all different directions has been trying to, get in on this podcast. So if Annabella can, mafia style make us an offer that she we can't refuse, then we're in. No pressure.
And I think this is a very important question. I think very, very important on this day, and
Yes.
everybody else on this call needs to answer it as well. So because it is May the 4th, before you leave us today, favorite Star Wars movie, favorite character, go.
Oh man, all right, off the bat for me, so to preface, I grew up with these movies. I was always the youngest of all my cousins. So I was, you can argue, the most corrupt probably, and I still am. But they loved and worshiped these movies. Off the bat for me, Empire Strikes Back. And just because arguably one of the best, sequels to a movie. And I would say Han Solo. I'm a huge, Harrison's my dude. I just think he's awesome. I probably would keel over if I ever met him in real life. He's just got this like way that he carries himself, and I'll shut up about that. So
I'll actually go next because I was actually going to say the same exact thing. I was going to say Empire Strikes Back, Han Solo. And if I wasn't going Han Solo, I might do Darth Vader, but I don't know.
Wow. Okay.
Just a cool character. I think it's a cool character.
Respect.
But
Yeah.
Han Solo is awesome. So
Yeah,
and
I'm gonna have to go next too, because that has to be everyone's favorite movie, isn't it? Like The Empire
it's the
Strikes
best
Back.
one.
It is the best one. It's the tightest script of them all, right?
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's awesome.
It's the most action-packed one that I feel like everybody follows the story too wise, and it's just obviously has the famous quote too in it, so we can't. For Caitlin that doesn't know.
right. We need to bring Caitlin to
Are we
the
seriously
right side
hiding
of the
the
force.
most obvious spoiler of all time?
I'm not
Oh my
hiding
God.
it. I'm more directing it to
everyone says
Caitlin.
it if you haven't seen the movie. Oh, spoilers! It was made 40 years ago.
As someone who, like Adam, saw the second movie in the theater,
Right.
my favorite character has to be Princess Leia, because it was the first time I saw a female character be so
Heroine.
awesome.
Yeah.
Was that last movie hard for you then? The last movie that just came out December 2019?
Every movie has been an emotional roller coaster. It has been,
It
because
really,
I remember we went into that last movie and my husband brought the little R2 figure that he brought to the movie in 77. He was just really tiny. He was 6 years old. And he put him in the little cup holder and then took a photo of all of us. It's I was here with R2 then, and now I'm here with my kid.
Oh
And I
my
was like,
God.
First
I didn't
of
know I was
all,
gonna start crying this morning.
Whoa.
I was like so moved. I don't have anything from 1977 in my possession. I mean, he kept that. So,
But it is the top of the hour, but I still want to hear everybody else's choices here at 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair, New Jersey. So who else? What do we got?
I'll go super quick. I'll just say the Millennium Falcon. I don't know people. Everybody loves people. Dude, the Falcon and all the sounds when the hyperdrive goes out and it kicks in. Come on, the sound alone.
I love it.
Love it.
Being a car guy, that's
Yeah.
that suits
That's
you
my
well.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me think. I like Princess Leia a lot too, Annabella. I also like Kylo Ren too. I like his character arc. And it's a cool one. Yeah. But I have to head back to work. So have a great rest of your day, everyone.
You too.
You too.
Before we go, Ben.
Before I forget, that's the top of the hour here at WMSC Upper Montclair. I'm gonna have Caitlin go first.
I see. Ben is trying to help me out on the back end over here, but I'm not going to listen to him. And I just want to say that I think R2D2 is cute.
I tried to get her to say Jar Jar.
Why would you do that?
I said in a nice way. I said you could sound really nerdy and say K2SO from Rogue One, or you could be funny and say Jar Jar from Phantom Menace.
Jar Jar.
What's your favorite movie character? Go.
Well, my favorites, of course, Empire Strikes Back, but to be non-nerdy, I gotta say the most underrated one is Revenge of the Sith. I feel like it is, even though it's full of memes, I still think it's a really good movie. I think it's very underrated, but I love Obi-Wan in the prequels. He's my favorite character.
Killer.
I think Obi-Wan and all three of them carried that. He's the reason I watched prequels. Is just to watch.
Love it.
He's so amazing.
All right. Well, that is it here at 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. Thank you, Adam and Jeff, for joining us with your advice and our conversation today. Have an excellent day, and may the fourth be with you, or the force, whatever you would like to say. Manual or automatic drops on Monday on Spotify and anywhere else you get your podcast. And also a reminder to any MSU students listening, remember every college has their own dedicated career services, and appointments are always there upon request.
Great plug. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, WMSC.
No problem.
We better get out of here. Somebody's
I got
coming.
a boogie.
Thank you for tuning in here at 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair, New Jersey. I was Amanda Marino with Caitlin Aristizabal, Ben Petrick, and Emma Gofflin. Have a great day.